Dr. Strangelove.
Or How I Learned to Stop Worrying and
Love the bomb.
A moving picture.
Welcome to Film Talk. I'm Richard Edwards, and in this edition we're looking at a very special film indeed. Dr. Strangelove, or How I Learned to Stop Worrying and Love the Bomb, is a black comedy from 1964 that's a bit of a satire on the Cold War between the US and the Russians. Directed by Stanley Kubrick, the film is noted for a number of reasons, not least of all that Peter Sellers plays three of the leading roles. We see him as Group Captain Lionel Mandrake, an exchange officer from the RAF who's serving with the US Air Force. He also plays Merkin Muffley, the President of the United States, and the wonderfully iconic and completely weird Dr. Strangelove, the wheelchair-bound nuclear expert who's also a former Nazi.
I shouldn't tell you this, Mandrake, but you're a good officer and you have a right to know. It looks like we're in a shooting war.
Hell. All the Russians involved, sir?
Well, boys, I reckon this is it. Nuclear combat toe-to-toe with the Ruskies.
Dr. Strangelove is regarded by many as the best comedy ever made. It's using humour to tell an interesting or important story. Here it's satirising the tensions between East and West, the craziness of the Cold War, the arms race, the build-up of nuclear weapons, and how a crazed person could just set in play a train of events that could lead to world Armageddon. Peter Sellers was going through a divorce, one of many at the time, which meant he wasn't able to leave the country, so all the scenes were shot at Shepperton Studios. Stanley Kubrick has an incredible reputation as a director. His credits include things like Barry Lyndon, 2001: A Space Odyssey, The Shining, absolute classic films in British film history. British, yes, he was American, but he kind of didn't like the Hollywood system and preferred to make his films over here, so he moved to Hertfordshire, just outside St Albans, and based himself there for the majority of his career. The film was designed by Ken Adam, who was also the designer for the James Bond films, and you can really see that in the scale and breadth of some of the sets. The war room, for example, looks absolutely stunning. They've got green baize on the table. Now, you don't see that in black and white, but it was really important to have that green baize there, so the actors felt they were playing a giant game of poker for the lives of the people of the world. Now, the film centres around US Air Force Brigadier General Jack D. Ripper. He orders his executive officer, Mandrake, played by Peter Sellers, to put into effect Plan Attack R, which issues orders to patrolling bombers to undertake a strike of the Soviet Union. One of these is being commanded by T.J. King Kong, who's determined to follow through his orders, despite common sense telling him that it could be an exercise, or even worse, a mistake.
Ain't nobody ever got the go code yet. And old Ripper wouldn't be giving us Plan R unless them Ruskies had already clobbered Washington and a lot of other towns with a sneak attack.
Yes, sir.
Major Kong, message from base confirmed.
In the Pentagon War Room, General Buck Turgison, played by George C. Scott, is briefing the President, giving him a full rundown of the awful situation as it evolves. The President then tries to get through to the Soviet Union in order to discuss with his counterpart and reassure him that things are under control. They're trying to stop the planes, pull them back, and not to launch a counterstrike.
Has that plane really got a chance of getting through?
Well, sir, if the pilot's good, see, I mean, if he's really sharp, he can barrel that baby in so low. I mean, you ought to see it sometime. It's a sight. A big plane like a 52. Vroom! It's jet exhaust, frying chickens in the barn.
And as if that wasn't enough, after a heated discussion with the Soviet president, the Russian ambassador at the Pentagon tells President Muffley that the Russians have created a special doomsday machine, a whole network of buried bombs that are connected by a computer that are designed to take off and attack the US should Russia be victim of a nuclear attack.
But this is fantastic, Strangelove. How can it be triggered automatically?
Well, it's remarkably simple to do that. When you merely wish to bury bombs, there's no limit to the size.
Initially, the film was meant to have an ending with a giant custard pie fight in the war room at the Pentagon, but I think as the film was due to be released just after the assassination of President Kennedy, they thought that was just way too silly for what were very serious world events. And so the ending was changed to a montage of nuclear explosions and Vera Lynn singing "We'll Meet Again." If you're looking for a rip-roaring, rolling on the floor, side-splitting laughter comedy, this absolutely isn't it. It's black comedy, it's satire, It's satirising the Cold War, the tensions between East and West, the arms race, the futility of nuclear war. It told a very important story in 1964 that's still just as valid today. It's a landmark in Stanley Kubrick's career, and it's a landmark in film history, just like many of Stanley Kubrick's films. Well worth watching now, as it was then. An important story that's still valid, and absolutely well worth a view. Be great to know what you think, so do leave some comments down below. If you enjoyed the video, please subscribe to our channel, and don't forget to hit that little bell icon to get a notification every time we release a new video. Thanks for watching, see you next time.